Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm your presenter Tarnia Green. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Among the major developments, improved drainage system and a brand new seawall for residents of Meru. Cabinet endorsed Regional Integration Task Force, now fully operational, and Dr. Carissa Etienne to be honored for her work in medicine. Stay with me as I bring you the details of these and other stories coming up right after the break.
The black cikungunya fungus can survive on banana and plantain leaves even after they have been cut from the tree. Farmers and hucksters are encouraged to use alternate cushioning material when moving produce from farm to the market. Do not use banana and plantain leaves as cushioning. It is against the law to move banana and plantain trash from the field. Obey the law and stop the spread of black cikungunya today.
Thanks for staying with us. Time now for the details of the news. Residents of Meru will benefit soon from an improved drainage system and a seawall. Parliamentary representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Honorable Kelvadaru, told GIS News on Monday that a climate-resilient project funded by the United States Aid Agency and the OECS will begin as soon as this year's cruise season ends.
The community of Meru is below sea level and it is prone to disasters, particularly from high seas. So this project will be timely. It will also have a coordinated effort for the flow of wastewater from persons' homes, and that is very important. We know of the chikungunya disease which is around due to the breeding of mosquitoes, and we cannot afford to have any stagnant water in the communities. So this project, I believe, is timely, and it is one that will improve the overall aesthetics of the community of Meru. And at the upcoming tourist season, I believe it will impact tremendously on the residents of the community of Meru.
In other news, there are plans by the Roosevelt-Skerrit-led administration to transform Roseau into the most modern capital city in the OECS. Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Alvin Bernard, announced last weekend that government will soon launch a major project in the capital as part of its urban renewal program. Honorable Bernard was at the time addressing a white coat ceremony of the All Saints University School of Medicine. He explained that the vision of the project is to develop a modern, clean and viable economic space and a major center for services, culture, arts and sport.
The specific objective is to create an urban community fully integrated with the national economy, where residents and all stakeholders can be empowered to create and/or capitalize on opportunities and ultimately be fulfilled according to their needs and abilities. In other words, a highly desirable environment to live, work, and play.
The minister indicated that the project activities will result in social and economic infrastructure and modern amenities complemented by a modernized administrative and legal framework. Benefits will include the creation of employment on a short-term to medium-term and subsequently more sustainable jobs. In other news, a Regional Integration Task Force set up by the Government of Dominica is fully operational and is primarily focused on pushing the regional integration agenda forward. The Cabinet-approved task force, which has been in operation since 2013, met to report on its activities on Tuesday. Ambassador of Dominica to the OECS and CARICOM, His Excellency Felix Gregoire, is the individual charged with heading the task force. Ambassador Gregoire told GIS News that a key function of the task force is to implement decisions taken by heads of government and ministers at the regional level.
The task force actually is set up to help various departments, ministries to implement decisions taken by heads of government or ministers who have attended CARICOM meetings or OECS meetings. As you know, there are a number of meetings, and at those meetings decisions are taken. And in the past, we've had decisions implemented in a very slow manner or maybe not implemented at all. So the government of Dominica has decided to ensure that these decisions are implemented that there is a structure in place to do that, and felt that the Regional Integration Task Force is a good way to go.
The Regional Integration Task Force is made up of representatives from a number of government ministries and sectors, as well as the National Youth Council and the private sector. Ambassador Gregoire said the work of the task force will ensure that Dominica is current in implementing important decisions and arrangements as it relates to regional integration.
The task force really will look at decisions taken at meetings and decide on what is relevant to the country, Dominica, and with the approval of the government, the cabinet, implement those decisions so that Dominica is always conforming to the arrangements made at the CARICOM level and at the OECS level. So we don't want to talk about regional integration. We want to participate and contribute to regional integration.
The Honourable Minister for Public Works, Energy and Ports, Honourable Rayburn Blackmore, is calling government's recent geothermal initiatives a practical intervention. On Monday, the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports presented an update on the National Energy Policy, or NEP, and Sustainable Energy Plan, SEP, for Dominica. The Honourable Minister says the profound efforts made in geothermal development is in keeping with government's fundamental principle of improving the quality of life of its people.
The government, therefore, has realized that one of the things that must be done, therefore, to guarantee that improvement in the quality of life of our people is by way of a total transformation and change to the energy sector. A type of change, therefore, and transformation that will result in the reduction, first of all, of the cost of energy to the ultimate consumer. Diversification of the energy sources, and thirdly, and very importantly, also reducing our reliance on fossil fuel for energy generation.
Talks about pursuing geothermal energy on the island has been around for several decades. However, Honourable Blackmore says it took the innovative and forward thinking of the Dominica Labour Party administration to venture into such a project. The Honourable Minister declared that extensive measures were taken to study the resources and that the nation can now realize tangible gains. He indicated that $54 million has already been spent on efforts to develop geothermal.
We have been through the processes of doing the requisite studies. We have been through the processes of the test wells that gave us an insight as to the size and quality of that resource. And we have been to the process of drilling a production well. And by the end of May, we'll get a clear perspective as to the actual result from a scientific standpoint. However, early indications point to a better result that we actually thought of. That is commendable. As a government and as a people, we have spent $54 million in our effort to develop that resource. We can now speak of developing the resource as we have departed from the process of exploration.
Dominica has been recognized as being the lead among Caribbean countries in efforts at developing geothermal resources as an alternative to fossil fuels. Honourable Blackmore is satisfied with the tremendous progress made on government's mission to produce geothermal energy and provide sustainable energy plan to give support to Dominica's energy sector goals. He commended the efforts of the consulting firm and European Union, who have demonstrated its support over the years.
I want to commend the effort of the consulting firm, who has been there with us for a very long period of time. I also want to express the gratitude of the government of Dominica to the European Union, and of course, through the instrumentality of the National Authorizing Officer.
It is anticipated that by the year 2015, a small 15-megawatt production plant will be constructed to supply energy for local consumption. Government hopes that this will replace diesel production and reduce the cost of electricity on the island. GIS will bring you more information from this update in a subsequent newscast. In other news, OECS nationals wishing to pursue studies in biosafety now have the opportunity to do so. Coordinator of the Regional Biodiversity Project, Karen Lynch, explains that as part of the regional project, the University of the West Indies is now offering a Master's in Biodiversity. The one-year program is the first of its kind in the region and will include lectures, research papers, and laboratory work.
The first intake is expected. They will begin in September of this year. It is a one-year teaching program. It also has a lab element and a research paper at the end. We have also planned 3 additional workshops that will be done at various points in the year. We expect that all 4 workshops planned will be completed by the end of this year.
Lynch was addressing the opening of a 3-day regional workshop on Monday on environmental risk assessment in biosafety. That workshop is being held at the Fortune Hotel. We will bring you more details of that forum in Wednesday's newscast. And the chairman of Dominica's Electoral Commission, Attorney Gerald Burton, in a recent interview with GIS News, relayed government's commitment to ensuring transparency in the electoral process that caters to the people. Members of the Delian Project, a Canadian non-governmental organization, visited Dominica last week in an effort to share with the nation Canada's success in the electoral process and possibly introduce a tabulator technology to Dominica for a smoother and quicker voting process. Burton says that the election process is the most important way in which the will of the people is expressed.
The election process is perhaps the most important way in which the will of the people is expressed. And so you want everyone to have had a full opportunity to express that will. And we believe that such technology enhances that possibility, that opportunity for each and every voter. And so that we have an obligation to explain fully to people, to show them what's involved, and to get them as comfortable as possible. We have a society in which persons, the comfort level with technology continues to increase. We have cell phones, some of us have 2 and 3, and computers and iPads and so on. And so there's a certain comfort level with, we understand new technology in our society, but we do appreciate that there will be quite a bit of hesitation in a significant portion of the populace. Our job is going to be to educate them and to explain to them that there is nothing foreign or alien about it, but merely a tool by which to improve the way in which we conduct the election process.
Burton said educating the general public remains a key priority to the Electoral Commission and, by extension, the government of Dominica. He indicated that as a result, the Electoral Commission and Delian Project members met with various representatives of various political parties.
We had the opportunity this morning to meet with the political parties and to expose them to the technology, because an important part of the process is going to be the education of the general public. And we believe that if the political parties are on board with us in such a project, we would certainly have an easier time in explaining to the general public the manner in which that this would improve the process of the elections.
He says this will ultimately be achieved through a series of public discussions, meetings, and with the use of social mediums. The chairman expressed that though the new technology is unlikely to be implemented by the next general election, it will serve a long-term purpose once introduced.
It requires looking at our legislation. The Electoral Commission is in the process of looking at all of our electoral laws and processes with a view to making recommendations to Parliament. And certainly if there is a general consensus nationally to move in that direction, then we will be in a position to take that on board as part of the discussion. That undoubtedly will take some time for us to get to that stage. And so it is unlikely we would be in a position to introduce the technology within the time frame constitutionally for the next election. But certainly all of this is in terms of long-term planning, really, as to how we can continue to improve the electoral process.
In other news, the development of the draft strategic plan for the Caribbean community continued last weekend with discussions between the CARICOM change drivers. Dominica's ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency Felix Gregoire, who attended the Guyana meeting, explained that the meeting was a follow-up to a series of consultations held last year throughout the region.
Most countries were visited, and the consultants with CARICOM staff invited persons to give proposals for CARICOM to implement over the next 5 years. And we now have a draft proposal which was presented to the heads of government in St. Vincent in March. And the heads mandated that we have to refine the document further. So last week, we spent 2 days reviewing the document and trying to put it in a shape that will be acceptable to the heads of government.
The revised draft strategic plan is expected to be presented to the CARICOM heads of government when they meet in July. And repair works has begun on the Bells Plainfield. The contractors of Lot 2 of the Roseau to Melville Hall Airport Road project utilized the field for storage of equipment and materials. Parliamentary representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Honorable Kelva Daru, told GIS News on Monday that with the project nearing completion, work is now underway to return the playing field to its previous condition so that residents can once again engage in various sporting activities.
Already, persons have already begun to play on that field, and we have further plans moving forward as a community and as a member of Parliament to ensure that we can place some stands as well as look at the lighting of the playing field.
And finally, this news time, Dominican and Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, is among a number of distinguished women who will be honored at the 18th annual staging of the prestigious Women of Great Esteem Emerald Awards to be held on May 3rd in New York. Dr. Etienne will be honored for outstanding work in the field of medicine as it relates to global research and policy around primary health care. Emerald Awards are presented to women who develop and advance their communities without regard for race, ethnicity, religion, gender, age, or national origin. The Women of Great Esteem Emerald Award was founded in 1995 to recognize the increasing contribution of women who have excelled beyond normal expectations in a multicultural society. Over 150 women from 27 countries around the world have already received the award. Dominicans Jean Joseph and former MP for Castle Bruce, Laureen Bannis Roberts, are among past awardees. Dr. Etienne previously served as PAHO's Assistant Director in 2003-2008, in charge of its core technical cooperation programs in health systems and services, technology and health services delivery, health surveillance and disease management, family and community health, and sustainable development and environmental health. In Dominica, Dr. Etienne served as coordinator of the National AIDS Program, disaster coordinator for the Ministry of Health, chair of the National Advisory Council for HIV and AIDS, and director of primary health care services, among other posts. She holds degrees in medicine and surgery from the University of the West Indies, as well as a master's in community health in developing countries from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. And that's it for the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson, St.Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson, St.Luce. Premièrement, ça fait les belles pour communauté bagaille moun ka manger, si posez bien les belles à nous manier bon standard santé moun. Parole cela sorti au ministre environ, honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow.
Alors, ça, c'est bit que you développé à la lab là. So, comme on dit, c'est bit ça là ni usio because science, nous besoin science pour aider nous combattre avec gourmet against diseases, plants, animal diseases. Mais nous besoin savoir que c'est bit ça là qui est majeur, c'est bit qui safe, et c'est bit qui pas affecter ces humans. Ces plantes, species plantes, animals habités. So nous voulons savoir, nous pas against technology, nous pas against science là, bon pour nous, pour un pays avec la terre, mais nous voulons savoir ça qui est dedans, ça qui est testé pour qu'il y ait pas de pièces adverse effect à la biodiversité.
En d'autres nouvelles, pays colonial qui était engagé et puis ça fait esclavage. Si vous avez payé pour réparation, parole cela sorti au chairman committee réparation Dominique, Dr. Damien Dublin.
Vous servi nèg pour développer pays. So vous allez en Afrique, mon nèg, mon Afrique un pays une culture, une manière de vivre. So you viens en Afrique et vous pensez mon la mettez sur bateau et puis menez vous en différents pays pour travailler et c'est ça nous a dit toute richesse là que ces pays a ni à présent nous a fait connexion et puis toutes ces même nèg servi pour travailler et c'est pas qu'on est travail yo travaille et puis vous pas même respecter you, recognize you comme moun, you tenir comme bête. So, you ont détruit culture. So, ça nous a dit à présent, nous c'est descendants africains, so à présent nous a dit, nous supposé payer quelque chose.
Inauguration village Kongs Woodford Hill, ça c'est un ciment, pour place semaine passée. Joseph Russell vit tapé position contre chairman Kongs Salam. Roseau a permis 7 d'ordre qui sémenté pour l'office pendant une cérémonie en village là. Si l'on parole chairman Roseau délivré, plusieurs projets bâtis en permis bagaille sanitation qui a resté en priorité pour construire cela. Roseau aussi one support pour continuer le travail en construction pour le développement ciment et aussi parler contre activement en permis chimie, agriculture, éducation, culture et puis beautification. Chairman l'a recognisé ces développements salam, bonne relation là et puis gouvernement. En même temps aussi, même parlement honorable Gloria Shillingford applaudit ancien consulat pour bon travail ailleurs. Et aussi crié à ces communautés là pour assister consulat, continuer à développer la communauté là. Ministre Shillingford crié à ces consulats même pour une consultation et puis communauté là pour taper succès. Et puis finalement, le département santé environ que ramassé vivre en délocalisation santé pays là. Parole celle-là sorti au chef département environ Anthony Scotland.
Roseau et Marigot. Sur toutes ces places là dans ce district ça, nous attaquons health EHOs, c'est environmental officers. Nous allons Bamoun, garder pour là, vous savez, vrai parti salarié. Et bien nous pouvons ces gens là en forme pour ça et bien nous pouvons tirer ces voitures là. Ça veut dire qu'il y a un consent form. So nous pouvons try dire yo pas pour payer pour. So pour avantage ça. Pour avantage choc là, il là à moi ça et bien l'autre moi. So yo nous pouvons dire tout le monde qui se vient voiture ça. Nous pouvons venir pour aider yo.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St.Luce. Au revoir.
When we come back, we'll bring you the tip of the day. Stay with us.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
On today's tip, we will talk to you about the dreaded chikungunya virus now affecting our population. Chikungunya is an infection in humans caused by the chikungunya virus. But how is chikungunya spread? Humans and other primates are the natural host for the chikungunya virus. The virus is spread to humans by the bite of an infected female Aedes species mosquito. These are the same tropical and subtropical mosquitoes that carry the dengue virus. They breed in or near human habitations and prefer to feed on humans during the daytime in shady areas, but may also bite early in the night. Signs and symptoms of the chikungunya infection is characterized by sudden onset of high fever, severe joint pain mainly in the arms and legs, headache, muscle pain, back pain, and a rash. Most people start to feel better after 7 to 10 days, although some people will develop longer-term joint pain. There is no specific treatment for chikungunya infection. The use of pain medication and rest can provide some relief for some of the symptoms. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and your comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. From all of us here at the Government Information Service News Desk, I am Tarnia Green. Thanks for joining us, and do remember to join us again tomorrow.